Welcome to Real Estate Real World, where we talk to the movers, shakers, and leaders that are getting it done right now in the real estate industry and beyond. I'm your host, Marguerite Crespillo, and I started this podcast simply dedicated to calling people about what's really happening in this crazy roller coaster ride of real estate. Be sure to subscribe on iTunes and stay up to date on the newest stuff by adding yourself to the list at www.realestaterealworld.com. Now, let's dive into the world of real estate. Hello, it's Marguerite, and I'm super excited today to have a longtime friend and very special guest joining us on Real Estate Real World, where we get to talk to all the cool people. Be sure to follow us on all your social media channels, and if you're so inclined, stop and give us a great review when you have a minute, because we talked to some pretty amazing guests and we've had some really exciting people coming up, and this one is a very special one. So today we have my friend Lori Logan, a Sacramento native, has over 30 years in local real estate, closing 640 plus transactions worth nearly $200 million. For the past 10 years, she has led and mentored agents, prioritizing a relationship-based approach to ensure clients' real estate goals align with their lifestyles. Lori believes everyone deserves a roof over their head, whether buying or renting, and is committed to helping clients build equity and generational wealth. Outside of real estate, Lori is a proud mother of 2 adult children whom she inspires to follow their passions in both athletics and the arts. A passionate advocate for the Sacramento Children's Receiving Home, Lori shares her personal story to raise awareness and support for children in need. Thank you, and please join me, my friend Lori.
Hello.
How are you?
Oh my gosh, I'm good. How are you?
Your smile and your energy is always, I feel like you're like a little kid in a candy store all the time, and I love it. I love it.
Yeah, it's almost annoying sometimes. I always see the glass half full. You can't be this happy all the time. I'm like, I have a lot to be grateful for. And my license plate says high energy, HY.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. It's so
Kind of
cool.
like my handle.
You know what? We were talking a little bit before we came on stage today, because I remember, so, you've been in real estate almost as long as me. And I remember joining by referral only with Joe Stumpf back in 1996. And I remember, I want to say it was around 99 or 2000 when you guys joined by referral only, right?
We joined in 98, but we really got a chance to meet you when we signed on for Mastery.
And you know what's so funny is you and I, so Lori and I met for happy hour a couple weeks ago, and we were talking about how amazing Mastery was back in the day. And I haven't been a part of anything quite like that since. It just had such a unique energy. And so what Mastery was, for our listeners, is by referral only was a coaching organization with Joe Stumpf, who's a master trainer. He's still around. He's doing some little different things now, and we could participate in this mastery program. And there was about 100 of us, maybe 150 of us.
Mm-hmm.
And we would meet like 3 to 4 times a year in places like San Diego or Florida, wherever there was a beach. I remember Joe always said it has to be a beach location.
Yeah.
And we would meet.
We went to Scottsdale once, though.
That's right. And we would collaborate and come up with ideas. And I'm laughing because I was at a Tom Ferry event the other day locally here in Sacramento. And he did the whole guess what your neighbors did last night. He showed that as a marketing piece. And I was like, I'm pretty sure
25 years ago.
I'm pretty sure we developed that in the mastery program 25 years ago with Dean Jackson, because it was such a great headline, right? Master marketer. Right. So how did you come across Joe? How did you end up, and your business partner, what was her name?
Gail Lamb.
Yeah, so it was Logan and Lamb.
Logan group.
Lamb and Logan, yeah. Mm-hmm. And I remember that. And I remember you guys showing up at Mastery, and I was like, who are these ladies, man? They got it going on. You were like on fire at that time. It was really fun to watch.
Yeah, it's a good story. It's a really good story. So we met When I got into the industry, it was at the beginning of 93. And it's when refis were going crazy. And so I was hired on as a business rep for the mortgage brokers and lenders. So I was hustling refis for the title company, and it was Fidelity.
Yeah.
And in that time, I did that for 5 years. The last year, I was calling on realtors, and I met Gail. And Gail worked at Coker and Cook at that
Oh,
time.
yeah.
It was
Yeah.
before
I remember
Coldwell
them.
Banker.
Yeah.
And we met, and she became one of my favorite clients. And I decided that, you know what, I'm going to fishbowl with title and escrow. I really want to be more a part of the transaction, and I want to get my real estate license. And so I talked to Gail about it. And but I'm not a solo act. I love collaboration, and I'm a team player.
Yeah.
Even my athletic background, I was a dance roller skater, and so I've always had a partnership. And plus, I had Mackenzie at that time was a year old, so I had just had her. Anyway, we got together. It was like a match. I got my real estate license in January of 93 is when I launched with Gail, and we knew that we needed outside coaching because at that time the brokerages weren't full service
Right.
with training inside the brokerage. So we went to a Mike Ferry half day seminar presentation, whatever. Made it all about 10 minutes and walked out and went, hell no. I'm sorry, expireds and FISBOs. I don't care if the market is big there. I'm not going there. It just didn't work with my heart.
Right.
So then we went to one of those half day with, or full day or something like that with Joe Stumpf. And
Yep. Me
then it
too.
was just like we found our mentor, and we decided to go full boogie. Like we signed on everything. And then Gail was really good about this and coaching me in keeping my focus. If we're going to invest this money, we have to put blinders on to everything else and just go full boogie with this. And I'm like, I'm good with that. And so we did. We just were sponges. And we met you, and we met Terry Moyler, and we met Manico. And the five of us collaborated our buyer presentation. So at the buyer presentation that we built our career on was partly you and Manico and Terry Moyler. And we all mastermind and all of that. And I have taught that buyer presentation to
And
of
me too.
hundreds of realtors. It's probably my favorite class is teaching the buyer presentation.
You
And
know,
that collaboration was just magnificent.
it's so funny because I remember, so my friend Renee, you probably remember Renee Romero, and
Yeah.
she was a lender. So she's still a lender. She was a lender, and she called me. She goes, "We got to go to this class." And I'm like, "Renee, I was literally like 6 months pregnant with my youngest son, John." And she goes, "It's just a half a day. We'll go." Then same thing. We went to the half day, and I immediately was like, these are my people. Like
Yeah.
this is my tribe. And so at that time, he was selling his tickets to his main event, right?
Uh-huh.
And you would
Yeah.
go to the main event for 3 days. And we used to walk in. I still think it's hilarious. Somewhere not too long ago, I found some of the tapes. We'd go into this main event, and he would give us this big box of all these cassette tapes and all this kind of stuff. And we would literally go from 8 in the morning to like midnight. We're all like, we're starving, we're freezing. And I wanted to sign up so bad for the coaching, but I literally, by this point, I was like 7.5 months pregnant. So I
Yeah.
remember waddling up to Joe, I'm big as a house. And I said, I really want to sign up for your coaching program, but I'm due to have my son here in 6 weeks. And he goes, that's okay. We'll just delay your billing or something. Or he did. So true story. I signed up for his program, and 2 weeks later, a month later, something, I had my son John, who's, he's 28 years old. He's gonna be 29 this year.
Yeah.
And I had Jacob, who was in a little baby carrier. I'm waddling around carrying him, and we went 3 days, 3 full days. Joe did those main events,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I got to give him huge kudos because Literally, he did one every single I think he did 11 a year. He did one every
Mhm.
month around the country
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
did those main events, and they were always amazing. They were always incredible. What a story, and honestly, what a testament to Joe, what he has developed and created all these
Right.
years. I
Well,
messaged him
and
not too long ago. I'm like, "Joe, I need to get you on my podcast," but I don't think he's doing much on social.
yeah, it's for relationship based life gravitation. I'm not transactional. I'm very
Yeah,
relational, and both are very important, successful. It just fits your personality. It really fit with me because I had a problem coming into real estate because of the reputation. And I thought, okay, if I get my real estate license, what am I going to do about that? I got to overcome that. And I thought to myself, I can't change it all at once. I can change it one client at a time and just be different.
yeah,
And right from the beginning, I just decided, you know what? I want three rules. I want, first of all, my buyers and sellers to say, wow, you're not like all of the other agents.
yeah,
That was a great experience. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. I want the agent on the other end of the deal to go, oh, high five. We got to work more together. Like,
right,
I get you. We work well. And then third, I never wanted to get sued. So I'm going to
yeah.
cross my T's and I'm going to dot my I's. I'm going to show up at anytime Gov Hutchinson shows up. I'm like, Gov Hutchinson and Robert Brand are my two favorites from Carr, where I'm like going, okay, I'm all ears.
Yeah. And it's interesting because we were talking the other day too about how things have changed in some ways and some of the
Mhm,
basics still work. But
mhm.
it's interesting to see this new generation of real estate agents that are coming in that it's
Yeah.
so much about social media and so much about kind of the tech. But what I know, and you and I confirmed this in talking, is that those relationships outlast a lot of that, right? And
Oh,
if you can
yeah.
learn the basics and learn just how to take great care of people, you'll get more than enough business.
Exactly. We're all humans and we all have senses and we want to be heard. We want touch, we want feel, we want facts, we want data, and we want to know that we're making an informed decision. Any decision that we make, we know we as human beings, we want to know that we're making a good decision. And I think the art of communication is getting a little buried.
So I'm curious, what would you I because I've seen this a lot lately on social is somebody having coffee with their younger self, right?
Uh-huh.
So what would you tell yourself when you were first starting out in that first couple of years? What would you tell your younger you now that you have been in this industry for 30 years?
My biggest lesson in life, and it's what I'm learning in real estate as well, my biggest lesson in life is to learn how to be authentically me and not apologize for who I am. And sometimes in the real estate world, in serving or public relations or any of that, there's an external, call it a facade or a way we have to show up. And sometimes people are odd in some ways. And you know what? Because of their confidence and they're embracing the oddness, they kill it. Look at Jack Black. He's so odd, but he's so adorable. You want to fall in love with them. It's not that I don't know, I'm just making an analogy, but it's more just be you.
Embrace who
Be
you
you
are.
and stay in your lane and don't try to be everything to everyone. And I fall victim to that. I want to be everything to everyone. And at the expense of robbing me of
Yeah.
the attention that me, myself, and I need. But I've been serving people since I was 13. I started babysitting, house cleaning, and then I got into restaurants and then switched over to department stores. But fortunately, I was Nordstrom trained, worked
Yes.
for 5 years, and then I got into real estate. And so it's just knowing people, understanding people, and then wanting to serve people. And the real estate is like the single largest purchase or sale that somebody, a financial transaction that they're making in their life.
Exactly.
And we need to be like full 100% on board, like it's our money, and I get really passionate about that. And so I get very short, especially now that I'm getting older. I have little patience for the people that don't want to care about another human being and just get into kind of I don't believe in the whole 90 listings in 90 days. I don't subscribe to that, because you know what the guy said? I've never apologized more and I've never cried more. And I'm
Mm,
like, you're apologizing to clients, to
yeah.
customers that are trusting you, and you've got a goal in mind.
Yeah.
You're just saying yes because you have a goal.
Yeah.
I don't know. I went off on a tangent.
It's interesting though, because would venture to say, and I don't have these stats from anywhere in particular, but I would say that probably more than 90% of the agents out there are relationship based. They
Yeah,
got into real estate because they're people and they want to
right.
be around people.
Hmm.
Yet, as an
Hmm.
industry, that's not what we're teaching. It's not what we're promoting or pushing. We're rewarding, a lot of the churn and burn agents who are, doing, 500 units, 800 units a year. Like, how can you possibly genuinely help and impact people? And they do. I know some great big teams that are doing amazing stuff out there in the world. But I feel like the majority of real estate agents are more of that relationship based type people who genuinely want to help people. There are people out there who are not that way, but I would say that most of the agents that I know, at least, they genuinely want to help people. But
Yeah.
sadly, the reputation gets tarnished by the small percentage who are the churn and burn 'em agents.
I think I don't subscribe to being a part time agent. If you're going to be a real estate agent, dive in full time. It's your responsibility. A lot of
Yeah.
people can't cut it though because it's a commission only. So you've got to have that side hustle to
Right.
get you through and pay the bills.
Yeah.
When you know you can pay the bills, now you are even a better real estate agent to people. But
Right.
you have to really embrace, excuse me, you have to really embrace the grind that it's going to take, and the commitment that it's going to take, for sure.
Glad you bring up commitment, because I did a little video the other day about you have a lot, the industry's in a transition right now. So you have a
Hmm.
lot of things that are changing and adjusting and adapting. And it's easy to just say, I don't feel like doing it today. And
Hmm.
I get that, but we're in a results oriented business.
Yeah.
We don't get paid. If we don't get results, we don't get paid. And the second part of that is the work you're doing today is 90 days out, right? So
Yeah,
you start
everything we
making your
do
calls
today shows
today.
up 90 days from now.
Yeah, everything you're doing right now shows up 90 days from now. The fact is if you're not closing anything right now, it's because what were you doing 90 days ago?
Mhm.
Guess what? That was Thanksgiving and Christmas, and I'm going to take a little break. I'm going to take the holidays off. It's okay, but then you have to be willing to pay that price 90 days from now when you don't have business coming in the door.
Right.
And I just don't feel like a lot of agents are that committed. We have a whole industry right now that has never been through a down market. We have
Hmm.
an entire it's been the bottom of the market last time was 2010, so it's almost 15 years
Yeah.
that we've had nothing but increasing equity and low interest rates, and then something went haywire, rates went up, and people don't know what to do.
Right.
They don't know how to actually build a business or to create anything that's sustainable, because they don't know any different. And so we're seeing all these agents who are really floundering right now, and I get it. But I was like, what did you expect? Did you think you could just like sit there and everyone's going to just call you because you're pretty or because you're this or because
Well,
like no, like you have to do the work.
yeah, and you and I both know because we've done a number of recruiting, right? My first question is, why real estate?
Yeah.
Why are you getting into real estate? And I can't believe it when they say, You know what? I don't want to have to answer to a boss anymore. I just had my second child and I really want to control my schedule. I love houses
Right.
and I can't wait to show more houses. And it's
Yeah.
just, no, you need a bigger why than that. You know,
Exactly.
otherwise, this industry is going to chew you up and spit you out. Like you have to be passionate about serving people that no matter what and negotiating and trying to find a win-win and trying to find that we're problem solvers.
And
And
so you took a kind of a, not really a hiatus, but for a while you were managing more than you were in production, right? And now you've stepped back into production. How's
yeah,
that transition going?
yeah. So what happened was we always have to move with the market. Okay.
Yes.
So when Gail and I first started, it was a home buyer market, solid home buyers. And then we got into luxury. And then things started when the heyday, we were what, 2004, 2005, we were all like going laughing all the way to the
Right.
bank. And then 2006 happened, or was it set? Wait,
The end of 2005, beginning of
I-
2006, but most
yeah,
people attribute it to 2008 when the market
yeah,
started going sideways.
yeah. We were reading the signs on the wall, right? And then I was able to shift with the REOs. So I got the countrywide Bank of America account, which saved me. And then after that, it was an investor market. And that's when I went, I don't like the direction that real estate's going. This is ugly. I mean, over and over, the despair that you see in homes when you go to check
It was
to see
rough.
if there's occupancy or not.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was
and the
rough.
stories that all of us REO agents can tell is crazy. But the thing is, was when the investors got into it, I went, you know what? I don't think I want to do this anymore. I want to share what I know. And so I was offered the team lead position at KW in Roseville. And what I realized with the team lead position there was basically it's just a recruiting job. I didn't want to be just a recruiter. I wanted to share what I know. I wanted to,
Right.
I have so much knowledge up here and passion, and I want to share it. And I've done that for 10 years. And now it's, you know what? I'm not totally done with mentoring and training and sharing and all of that. I just redefine what like management and leadership looks like for me as I do share. But it's nice jumping back into the market, and I think this is a great time to get into the market. And you know what? I know how to navigate people through this market, and so it's I need to get into this market because we need more agents that are going to really help navigate the buyers and sellers through so that
Yeah.
they're making informed decisions and the process doesn't have to be hard. It can be
Right.
fun and
Yeah.
joyful,
Yeah.
even when you're like, what am I doing? It's this is a get in, sit down, shut up, and hang on roller coaster ride. But it doesn't
100%.
have to be scary. It can be fun.
And I think it comes down to when your first concern is genuinely helping people, then you'll find a way to improve the systems and processes. And I think back, like I said, when we were in buy referral only, and what I loved is we were always improving. We were always trying to find ways to make a system better so that people could get consistent help and support that they needed. And like you said, I still use most of those systems today. My team has a tough time because a lot of it was all paper. They're
Yeah.
like, we don't print anything out anymore. Or when somebody's, can you fax? You need to, like, the banks will be like, can you fax it? You're like, who has a fax? I don't even
Yeah.
know anybody who has a
Yeah.
fax machine anymore. But I still
They
have a
do.
lot of those. I still have a lot of those. I wish I kept a bunch of the tapes, but I still actually have this whole binder of all the buy referral only, the magazine he would send every month when
Yeah.
some of us would get highlighted in it and feel
Yeah.
like superstars for a moment. It was always
Yeah. I know. It was great though, because it really, again, every process, every system, every script, everything I did in real estate that made me successful, I gleaned from somebody else, masterminding with people like you.
yeah.
And when I
Well,
just spun
and
it and did it my way.
it's cool because I'm still friends with so many today that I met in by referral only. My last guest I had on the show, we
Mhm.
were talking about Dean and all the stuff Dean Jackson would do,
Oh,
and
yeah.
there's still so many people that I'm sure you remember Vinny Apostolico, he was a wild thing, but
Yes.
yeah, I just saw him not too long ago, and Ernestine Wilson, I talked to her a few days ago. So it's so fun that I feel like so many of us, because we were building such strong relationship businesses, that we actually created wonderful relationships within that group as well, which I think still holds true today and how valuable those relationships genuinely are.
And I think that real estate, what's so cool about real estate, if you're a relationship oriented person, like you genuinely love people, you love building relationships, there's a better industry to get into it because you get to represent home.
Yeah.
And this requires knowing their lifestyle and
Yeah.
helping to understand their lifestyle. And so it's just a magical experience.
So as we wrap up today, I just want to ask you this. What is one piece of advice you would give to the agents out there who are trying to navigate their way through these changing times?
Do it. I believe in self study. Like, who are you and what do you want to bring to the table? How do you want to serve in real estate? Figure out what your lane is. Figure it and work on your personal strengths because all of that is going to really instill the confidence. And everybody likes working with a confident person. Nobody
Yeah,
likes working with somebody that's wishy washy.
100%.
And one of the things that I like to say is, especially to new agents getting into the real estate or agents that are up against the wall where it's like, should I stay or should I go? It's really understanding who you are and all of the things that you've done up to this point and bring all of that to real estate. If you're a teacher, come with an educational hat on. If you are a construct contractor, if you love interior design, like what's your passion? And bring that to the table and all of the skills that you've learned up to this point apply in real estate because we're dealing with people.
100%. 100%. And
So
it does
confidence,
take
I
you
think,
back
is
to
big.
how just how important those basics are. And I think that sometimes we think there's a magic pill or an easy button or something like that. And there isn't. At the end of the day, communication and connection are probably the most important skills you can develop and work with in the real estate industry. Do you agree?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It's a great industry to be in. But again, you have to know why you're in it.
Know your why. That's so important.
Mhm.
Lori, it was so great connecting with you and having you on the show. Such
This
a
was
joy
fun.
and pleasure. And I can't wait to see you. We'll have to do another happy hour soon because you're actually local in my neighborhood. My last few guests have all been all over the world. So it's fun when you get to talk to somebody local. So thank you for joining us today.
Oh, you bet. I love you, girl. Mwah. Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us on another fabulous episode of Real Estate Real World, where we get to talk to all the cool people. Be sure and follow us on all the social channels. And if you feel so inclined, please drop us a great review. Go out and make it an amazing day and shine bright. Thank you for joining us today on Real Estate Real World, where we talk with masters and leaders in the real estate industry and beyond on how we can raise the bar in our industry. Please subscribe over on iTunes, and while you're there, be sure to give us a review. Your reviews encourage us and help others to find our podcast for show notes and hot topics on what's going on right now in our real estate industry. Also, hop on over to www.realestaterealworld.com and add your name to our email to get early advance notice of upcoming podcasts. Thanks again for listening, and go out there and be a part of the elite masterclass and raising the bar on the real estate industry.